Alright, was hat er gemacht? I made my giant Beyblade way too powerful. Oh nein, er hat wieder sein Beyblade hier gebastelt. Das hat er schon mal gemacht, aber ich glaube, er macht es jetzt noch krasser. Alright, let's go.
How you going? I've had this Beyblade sitting in my garage for 2 years now, and I just can't bring myself to throw it away. Mostly because it doesn't fit in my bin, and I don't want the garbage man to judge me. So, my solution is to do the most amount of engineering I've ever done and get this thing spinning at almost the speed of sound.
Digga,
So
dass er das
fast,
barfuß
it blows
macht, ist
itself
so
apart
kranke
and
Scheiße.
everything else around it. And that way, I don't have to throw it away.
Digga, so dumme Scheiße, ich lieb's.
If you watched my 2 previous videos in this Beyblade series, you'll know that I hyped it up a lot, but it was actually pretty crap. It didn't go very fast, and I also made it too good, and the Beyblade was very stable, so it didn't move around and destroy enough things. But it turns out there is a pretty easy fix to the stability. I just need to introduce some instability into the Beyblade's life with an opioid addiction, and by also cutting off its leg so
Classic.
it's flat, which makes it walk around more. Okay, now to make it spin faster. And last time I was
Digga,
using
wirklich,
a
dass er das
chainsaw
barfuß
winch
macht, ist
thing,
so
which
Psycho-Shit.
worked, but only got it up to like 360 RPM, and I want it to go a lot faster. Like fast enough that the UN is forced to get involved and put sanctions on my house.
Take the fact that he develops weapons of mass destruction very seriously. I remember the fact that he has invaded 2 countries before. I know for a fact that he's poisoned his own people.
So how am I going to get it spinning that fast?
Bro.
Well,
Oh
if we
mein
do some
Gott,
basic
wie unsatisfying,
maths, this
Digga.
motor spins at
Junge,
2000
schön die Schrauben reingehämmert, Digga.
RPM, and if we have a 2-to-1 pulley conversion on it, it will spin at 4000 RPM. So if the Beyblade is 92 centimeters wide, at 4000 RPM, the tips of the Beyblade will be traveling at around 700 kilometers per hour.
Ja moin.
And if we do some more maths, considering Princess Diana hit that bridge at 100 kilometers per hour, which made news all around the world, 700 kilometers per hour is enough to kill 7 princesses. So it should be pretty impressive at that speed.
7
But before I
times
make the
more
news, I
news.
just need to figure out how to attach this
Bro.
motor to the Beyblade, but
Bro.
more importantly, how to get it off. And considering the best thing I could come up with before was a pair of vice grips that released the Beyblade with a piece of string, I'm gonna get someone else to help. Come in.
Wieder ein Kind.
Hey, how you going? My mate, who has a channel called Not an Engineer, but despite the name, is a much better engineer than me. And he also knows how to draw parts on the computer, much better than I do.
Boah, sowas ist so satisfying, oder? Das ist so Tomeri-Shit, Bro. Das ist so geil, ich liebe das. Auch so Maschinen, die so in so einer Industrie so perfekt ineinander gehen. Da gibt's so Compilations, Bro. Das ist so satisfying.
And he drew up this cool sketch for us to follow. Now, the first thing we decided to do was take apart the Beyblade.
Oh, geil, ja. Da
And
hat
when
er
I
sich
was
einen
making
richtigen,
this, I definitely
richtigen Ingenieur
compensated for
geholt.
my lack of mechanical skills by using a whole bottle of glue on this thread, and it's now impossible to take apart. So we decided to deal with it later, and instead started boring down this pipe, which will hold the bearings and shaft that spins the Beyblade. And by we, I mean my mate, but first he had to fix my lathe.
This one doesn't even have its little washer. It's not attached. Look.
Alright, so that explains why I was making a funny noise. And you know what else needs fixing? Your browser. Which is why you need to start using Opera GX, the
Boah, Alter, was eine Überleitung.
sponsor of today's video. Thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Opera GX is a superior browser compared to others, as it doesn't use all your
Fat eine
computer's
Überleitung.
resources for no reason, allowing you to choose how much computer power Opera GX takes up. So you can have a bunch of tabs open and not have to close them while playing games or doing other things. Look, and look GX, slightly worse, look how you are. You can also get ones at X Store that change those
Eigentlich sind seine Werbungen immer funny, wir hätten hier gucken sollen.
as it's equipped
Aber
with
Chat hat
an
geschrieben, wir sollen
import
skippen.
tool
Ihr
that
seid
allows
schuld.
you to quickly import all your settings from your previous browser. All you do is go to Browser Setup. It also Swift when on a Games or X corner, which keeps
Digga, ich dachte gerade, hier sitzt ein nackter Mann, Bro. Alter, das sah irgendwie, ich weiß nicht warum, aber es sah für mich aus, als wäre hier so ein breitbeiniger Mann. Oh mein fucking Gott.
your browser. And while he was doing that, I did the more complicated parts that require expertise, like tapping these holes
Oder seine Fingernägel
and
sind so
hitting the
räudig.
Beyblade with a hammer. Okay, I managed to get the Beyblade apart with minimal effort. and my mate had finished boring the bearing holes so that the bearings fit neatly inside. And there is nothing more satisfying than watching a bearing fit perfectly into a hole. And I'm not even saying this in a sexual way. It's just a great feeling. Absolutely beautiful.
Ja,
because if it's slightly wrong, the bearing won't move at all. But when it's right, it slides perfectly in. And then before you know it, you and your mate are making love.
Ja, haben wir gesehen, wie es perfectly reingeslidet ist. Wow.
Okay, then my mate started turning down the shaft that was going to go inside the bearings, while I made the piece that's going to grip and release the Beyblade. And to do that, I'm going to use these little ball bearings, which I stole from your washing machine while you were sleeping.
Lager ohne Schlaghülse montieren, Profi. Ja, Mann, Digga, das habe ich auch direkt gesehen. Das hat mich abgefuckt, Mann. Ohne Schlaghülse, so dumm, what the fuck.
So, you should probably get that looked at. And the bearings go inside this piece and will grab the top of the Beyblade in the same way as a collet chuck on a mill. And if you don't know how a collet chuck works, neither do I. So you're asking the wrong guy. Next, I drilled 4 holes which are big enough to fit the balls all the way in, but not let them out on the inside of the pipe. Except for this hole, which I made too big.
Top. Alter, was geht jetzt ab? Was, Digga?
Then I just cut down this threaded rope.
Digga, das ist so dreist, dass das alles barfuß macht. What the fuck?
And welded it onto the piece with the balls.
Can't see what I'm doing, and I just welded the clamp to the piece.
Which is me done. And in the same time it took me to make this, my mate had finished the entire spinny shaft thing, which I then welded onto a bracket. And then we put it all together. And it spins slowly, but what we really want to know is, does it spin fast enough to cause grievous bodily harm?
Den Gag habe ich nicht gecheckt. War es überhaupt ein Gag?
No, it's alright. That's alright. That's not bad. You won't do that with the Beyblade.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine.
And that was the maximum speed, which seemed fast, but you can't really tell without the Beyblade on the bottom.
Perfekt. Jim John Nastic schreibt einfach Frisur scheiße. Danke, Digga. Er ist unfassbar geil, dass du heute hier bist, Digga.
Which is what we're going to do now. So next I welded up a frame for the motor and arm that hold the Beyblade. And this is all guesswork here, which is why I decided to weld it all permanently in place.
Natürlich hat er recht, Chat, aber es ist trotzdem ein guter Gag, ihn eine Woche zu timeouten, you know? Ist immer ein Classic, Bro. Ist immer ein easy one.
Before checking if the motor even fits onto the frame, which luckily it does, and the spindle as well. Okay, so then we finished off the Beyblade by drilling a hole in the center so a bolt threads inside, and then tested if the Beyblade fits.
Am I pushing it all the way?
Yeah.
Which it does.
Digga, kranke Scheiße, Digga. Stell dir vor, du kommst bei deinem Nachbarn in die Garage rein und der baut gerade einen riesigen fucking Beyblade aus einem Sägeblatt. Bro, ganz normaler Freitag, Digga. Obwohl, wahrscheinlich in Australien, wahrscheinlich wirklich ziemlich normal, Digga. Wahrscheinlich ist es da gar nicht so fucking weird.
A little bit.
And we couldn't resist spinning it up in my garage.
Yep.
Würdet ihr sagen, das ist super sicher, was die gerade machen? Hinter so 2 Boxen, Bro.
It's quite wobbly.
Is that? That's not the shaft though, is it?
No, I think it's an Beyblade. You got it up.
Do you want to go a bit faster?
Yeah.
Can you go? Or I'll go a little bit faster.
Yeah, you go with it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh my.
And that was only 5% of its maximum speed, but was already
Holy
terrifying
shit.
enough to kick in my fight or flight response and make me use my mate as a human shield. So I can't imagine what I'm going to do to the people around me when the Beyblade is going at full speed. Okay, last thing we have to do is make something that is going to hit this pin off the top to release the internal pipe. which means those little balls inside will be able to slip out of the way, releasing the Beyblade. And I was all for just poking it using a big stick, but my mate suggested we use the VFD, which we are using to control the speed of the motor, as it has some inbuilt switches that trigger when the motor reaches a certain speed, which we can plug this solenoid into. So I just welded the solenoid to some metal, and then we made the world's first hexagonal spring.
I have never seen a hexagonal spring.
I'm gonna fall over if you keep doing that.
And put it on the frame. And now the solenoid should pop out, hitting the release pin and knocking it off.
Hä, also geht das jetzt automatisch aus, wenn... Ich glaube, ja, anscheinend. Also das geht direkt dann auf, automatisch, wenn es einen bestimmten Speed hat. Bro, das ist ja überkrass.
I believe you now that it happened on camera.
Which it does, but we don't know if the release pin will actually stay on while the motor is spinning at high speed. So we gave it a test behind my not so blast-proof.
Die müssen eine Taste drücken. Nein, er meinte, wenn das ein bestimmte Dings hat. Einen bestimmten Speed.
You're gonna fly, you're gonna fly.
And that is everything working. So I just sprayed it and put on some safety tape to remind us not to go near it while it's spinning. And now I just need to find a place to spin this guy up. And last time I did it in the abandoned drug house down the road. And that is still an option, as I live close to another abandoned house. But that's also next to a preschool. And
Digga, stimmt. In dem letzten Video ist er in so ein verlassenes Drogenhaus rein, Digga. Und hat da so irgendwelche Stühle kaputt gemacht. Digga, wie dumm.
This guy is going to be spinning a lot faster, and I don't really think I can rely on walls to stop it. Which is why I asked for your guys' help. And lucky for me, Hamilton must have a death wish, as he hit me up and agreed to let me do the Beyblade on his property. So we put everything in the car, including 4 lady mannequins. And I didn't specifically ask for women, but it was the only thing they had left in the store, besides babies. Which I did buy as well, but for a different video.
Okay.
Have you ever been in a car with this many girls before?
Okay, chillig.
No, this is incredible. It's making me nervous.
It is also concerning it's only lady ones.
Yeah. I got them second hand, and I was like, it's all they had, and I realized afterwards, I'm like, this doesn't look that good, does it?
And Hamilton's property is perfect. It has one big opening, which the main camera can view all the destruction through. It's got rafters for the Beyblade to hang from, and most importantly, a dead kangaroo. So
Bro, was ist das für ein Cut,
first we
Digga?
hung up the Beyblade frame, which was a little wobbly.
Right, because it's an auto vibration absorbing
Yeah,
system.
exactly.
So if there's any imbalance in the system, it's not going to matter.
It's self-correcting.
Deutsche Logan Paul.
And then brought in the mannequins. And I couldn't stop thinking about that Princess Diana joke I made earlier, so thought it would be appropriate to arrange a little English tea party for the ladies. And then we put in the Beyblade.
Hey, gottlos.
It's what the whole thing's wobbling just from this.
And because we thought the Beyblade had a high chance of shattering, we decided to go full speed on the first go.
Might sit against this wall. If I
Oh
sit
my
against this
god.
wall.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, sweet.
Alright, should we do it?
Yep.
Digga, ist das dumm, ey.
It's the weakest pull, and then come on.
You happy near the door?
Ist das dumm.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hit and go.
Yeah, do it.
Junge, what the
And I'm not
fuck?
sure what Hamilton was expecting me to do on his property, but I'm sure he didn't imagine he would be cowering behind a single brick wall from a giant Beyblade spinning at almost the speed of sound.
Ja, ist so, Bro. Wer lässt sowas freiwillig in seinem fucking Grundstück machen? Wie dumm. Junge, ist das dumm. Ist das dumm, Alter. Bro. Holy shit.
Alright, it definitely worked in a way.
Komm,
As one of the
zweites Mal,
mannequins
zweites
was
Mal.
in pieces and its leg was out the window. And there was also a good-sized chunk missing out of the concrete. But besides
nice.
that, a lot went wrong. Firstly, we spun the motor the wrong way, so the bolt on top of the Beyblade undid itself and the Beyblade dropped prematurely, only getting up to like 10% of its maximum speed. And then also the frame was vibrating so much that the solenoid valve released before the maximum speed, knocking the pins off. So we put it all back together and this time reversed the motor and put in a new bolt and tried again.
We're doing it again.
Bruder, er hat das einmal gesehen, dass da, die haben da legit Concrete aus der Wand rausgemacht. Und er sagt so, ja, lass es uns noch ein zweites Mal machen. Was ist mit diesem Typen, der dieses Ding da ownt, Bro? What the fuck? Holy shit! Oh mein Gott, das ist so schnell, what the fuck? Das ist richtiger Männer-Shit, Bro. Okay, der Damage war aber nicht so groß. Aber das war auch noch nicht
That time it
Topspeed.
got a lot faster, but the solenoid valve still shook itself loose and released the Beyblade at 50% of this maximum speed.
Alter, das ist 50%.
Which was actually a good thing, as the Beyblade almost made it out the door, smashing the door frame and concrete on the edges.
Damage here. It tried to get out the door.
So we thought we better be safe and we put a single brick in the way
So, yo.
and did another test.
Digga,
This time
geil,
with
stimmt.
the aim of taking off the table's legs. And this time, I'm not going to play any music or talk. I'll just let you watch the full speed up of the Beyblade, because the noise that it produces when it reaches full speed is absolutely terrifying.
Digga, die Befestigung alleine von dem Beyblade ist so wild, Junge. Digga, was so ein Verwender. Junge, holy shit. Stell dir vor, ihr würdet da in dem Raum mitstehen, Junge, what the fuck. Alter, was? Was? Holy shit! Das ist fake, oder? Ist das echt? Bro, what? Holy shit! Digga. Digga, dem gehört einfach die. Bro, das ist so kranke Scheiße, Bruder. Da ist einfach so ein Typ, dem gehört dieses Objekt, der hat einfach zugestimmt, dass sie das da machen.
And that was the level of destruction I was looking for. It shot shrapnel past the camera at a ridiculous speed. It almost started a fire.
Was? Wo? Alter!
Even cut deeper gouges into the concrete.
That's deep as well.
And this was the first one that actually got up to full speed. And the noise it was making was absolutely horrible.
Digga, der Helikopter, what the fuck?
It sounded like a helicopter that was getting closer and closer.
Pre-watch.
And this is how the Viet Cong must have felt when Americans were flying over the jungles and dropping giant Beyblades from the sky. Also, that run reached full speed at 4,000 RPM, which means the tips of the Beyblade were traveling at 670 kilometers an hour. But I still want the Beyblade to disintegrate itself. So this time, we're going to try dropping it from the height straight onto the concrete floor.
Digga, ist das dumm, ey. Ist das dumme Scheiße. Alter, ist das dumm, Junge.
We were wondering what that noise was, and it's this bolt which loosened itself from the Beyblade disc. But it still held on and it dropped. And because I couldn't really hear the Beyblade anymore, I decided to go and have a look.
Warum?
And almost walked into the Beyblade still spinning on the ground at 400 kilometers an hour.
Bro, what the What the fuck? Anstatt der einfach außen rum geht und von außen guckt. Digga, wirklich. Ey, ich hoffe, der Bruder verletzt sich nicht irgendwann mal for real, ne? Junge, Junge, Junge. Digga, der hat schon so viel Scheiße gemacht. Es gab so ein Video, der hat ja irgendwie so eine Nagelpistole oder so einen Hammer gebaut, der so bei jedem Schlag immer so den Nagel mit so Sprengstoff in die Wand haut. Und der Nagel ist bis in eine Etage höher geflogen bei ihm, Digga. Bro, imagine, das wäre in seine Richtung geflogen einfach. Digga, das ist so dumm.
Now, even though that wasn't a successful drop, it was really cool looking back on the slow motion footage and seeing the solenoid valve work exactly as we intended, knocking off the pin and releasing the Beyblade while it was doing 4,000 RPM. Okay, we've got time for one more test, and we're going to try and cut this table in half.
This is gonna do it. I just want her to fall over. She's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Krank.
And this noise never gets easy to listen to. Every part of your body wants to run away.
Ist das dumm, ey. Das ist so richtiger Männer-Content einfach, ne? Boah!
That was amazing. Even though it didn't blow up, we spun it fast enough and caused enough destruction to finally allow me to put this Beyblade to rest.
Okay, the table is cut in half.
Krank. Kranke Scheiße, wirklich.
I don't know if I can go through
Ja,
that
ja.
again.
Und wir wundern uns, warum Männer kürzer leben, wirklich. Das ist so
I
scheiße.
don't want to do anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I hate that noise.
I also really want to thank my mate
Da hat sogar
Martin
er Schuhe an,
Engineer,
ja,
for
besser
helping
ist.
me out with this, and you should go check out and subscribe to his YouTube channel. And also Hamilton for letting me use his property, and his dog for doing more damage to my leg than the actual Beyblade.
More damage to the Beyblade.
Thank you so much for watching. If you
Ja,
like that, please subscribe and
Gutes
watch
Video,
some
Bro.
of my other videos.
Ey, ich liebe diesen Channel, ne? So ein guter. So ein guter. Bester. Solltet ihr abonniert haben.
Soll ich dazu sagen, ich hab mehr Fans als du, kann mich eigentlich nicht beklagen.